As she drives, the man she loves and hates keeps calling. Mintra has no choice but to pull over. But the second she taps the answer icon, two men surround her car and drag her out, knocking her unconscious and taking her away. On the other end, Parin hears the commotion, realizes she's in danger, and races to track her down. Two men hold Mintra hostage in a resort, trying to lock her up. She refuses to yield. Even beaten, she fights desperately. Thankfully, her fierceness buys time for Parin to arrive. To rescue her, he throws himself between her and a kidnapper, taking a knife meant for her. As the kidnappers are subdued, Mintra pulls him into the car and floors the gas, fleeing wildly. They hide out in a remote hospital for treatment. Luckily, Parin's wound misses his vital organs. Relieved, Mintra prepares to leave. Parin fights through the pain to pull her tightly into his arms, begging her not to abandon him. How can she harden her heart when he risked his life for her? Unexpectedly, the kidnappers trace them to the hospital. Since both of them lost their cell phones, they can't call the police or their families for help. To escape, they drive into a barren forest, but the car runs out of gas, leaving them stranded for the night. As dawn breaks, the two struggle out of the forest and reach a coastal village. A kind local woman takes them in, promising to report the kidnapping to the town police the next day. Parin runs a high fever from his infected wound, deliriously calling out Mintra's name through his days. His unconscious outpouring of love thaws Mintra's heart, chipping away at the bitterness that had calcified there since that night. She sets aside her resistance and tends to him with care. Their feelings slowly kindle, like embers fanning into flame. When he notices she's no longer hostile, Parin decides to confess the truth about that night 4 years ago, how he'd mistaken her for a sex worker, never knowing she'd been drugged. But as soon as he mentions that night, Mintra slaps him and stops him from going on. The memory is her nightmare, reknitting her hatred. She hurls curses at him, calling him rotten to the core, and snarls that she's only nursing him out of humanitarian duty. Meanwhile, Mintra's family is in turmoil. Her disappearance has left her 2 children and parents deeply anxious. Her father wants to call the police, but the assistant stops him, arguing it will alert reporters and worsen Mintra's already tarnished reputation. The assistant swears that he will find Mintra as soon as possible, which impresses her parents. Unbeknownst to them, the kidnapping was plotted by the assistant's boyfriend. He owed $5 million in gambling debts and couldn't repay them, so he plotted to kidnap Mintra for a huge ransom. Penn hired 2 thugs to help him carry out the plan. Anyway, she'd harbored a burning desire to destroy Mintra for years. The assistant was furious when he learned about it, calling his boyfriend an idiot, but still has to find a way to cover for him. That night, Parin goes to comfort the restless Mintra, promising to take her home safely tomorrow. As they let down their emotional walls, a sudden thunderclap startles her, and she instinctively throws herself into his arms. He seizes this opportunity to sincerely apologize for hurting her, saying that no matter how much she hates him, he will always love her and be there for her. Deeply moved, Mintra takes the initiative to kiss him. Then, fully aware of her choice, she surrenders herself to him, for this is the moment she's ached for, the proof that her love for Parin has never faded. Afterward, Parin notices a scar on her stomach. She lies it's from an appendectomy, while he never dreams it's proof she bore his child. Despite the intimate night they shared, Parin remains unsure if her feelings for him are rooted in love. When he asks if she loves him, Mintra shies away from answering. However, it's precisely the silence that triggers a series of misunderstandings to come. Now, gazing at his sleeping face, Mintra feels overwhelming happiness. She decides to forgive him and reveal the children's truth tomorrow, hoping for a fresh start as a family of 4. Unfortunately, when she wakes up the next day, Parin is gone, leaving only a letter behind. It turns out that he misunderstood Mintra didn't like him, and she only slept with him out of pity. He felt unworthy of her and believed nothing could make up for the mistakes he had made against her. All he could do was disappear from her life. He said she deserved someone better and urged her to give his friend Gan a chance. So he asked Gan to take care of her, hoping that the 2 of them would be happy together. But his so-called good intention not only torments him, but also destroys Mintra's last trust in him. Mintra is heartbroken for a long time, utterly unable to make sense of his logic. She can only explain his actions by convincing herself he's a bastard.
ถ้าเขารักฉันจริงๆเขาจะไม่ทิ้งฉันผลักใส่ฉันไปให้คนอื่น
With the support of her best friend, Mintra pulls herself together and decides to confront another person who hurt her. They storm into Pem's filming studio and splash coffee all over her. It turns out that Parin told her in a letter that Pem had lied to him about Mintra being a prostitute and had drugged her, which is why she was unconscious that night. Nevertheless, Pem refuses to admit it and calls Mintra cheap. Mintra and the bestie can't stand it any longer and beat up Pem in front of hundreds of crew members. To prevent the negative news from spreading, Pem's agency temporarily suspends her. Driven by greed, Pem flirts with a wealthy businessman, begging him for career opportunities. Unexpectedly, the assistant's boyfriend spots them and secretly films it. Kirkpo, desperate for money to pay off his gambling debts, sells the video to the bestie for $5 million. As a super rich heiress, the bestie couldn't care less about the cash. She only wants to protect Mintra and punish those who harmed her. Then she finds the businessman's wife and shows her the video of his infidelity. In a fit of rage, the wife catches Pem and beats her black and blue. Turns out this isn't the first time Pem's been a homewrecker. 4 years ago, Pem had an affair with the same man and was given a hard time by his wife. After she begged for forgiveness and promised not to do it again, the wife let her off the hook. Unexpectedly, Pem is now colluding with her husband again. The wife, pushed beyond her limits, decides to reveal Pem's true colors to the world. In an instant, the video of the famous actress's infidelity goes viral on all social media. Pem loses all her jobs, gets dropped by her agency. When her boyfriend learns the truth, he is completely devastated. Only then does he realize what a vicious and hypocritical woman she is, and he breaks up with her on the spot. However, Pem doesn't think she's done anything wrong at all. Instead, she blames Mintra and the bestie for everything and bides her time to get revenge. On the other side, Gan frequently visits Mintra at work with coffee and desserts. Noticing she still can't forget Parin, he doesn't rush her into marriage. Instead, he only asks for a chance to stay by her side and take care of her. Mintra neither refuses nor agrees. She also wants to move past the hurt caused by that jerk and start a new life as soon as possible. Little does she know that jerk has never truly left. Though he's as disheveled as a vagrant, he's been secretly watching from the shadows to see if the two he paired up are happy. Additionally, Parin quit his job, cut off all contact, and has been busy designing an architectural project. After a period of pleasant interactions, Gan believes Mintra is finally ready to accept him and let go of Parin. One day, he invites Mintra to a restaurant, planning to propose. But the moment he takes the ring out of his pocket, she feels nauseous and dashes out. This physical reaction is exactly like when she was first pregnant. Mintra has a bad feeling and goes to the gynecology department for a checkup. Holy cow, she's pregnant again. I have to say Parin is incredibly effective. Just 2 times together, and both times led to Mintra conceiving. When Mintra stumbles out of the clinic in a state of collapse, Parin happens to be rushing a partner with a sudden illness to the hospital. Seeing that she's not feeling well, he gets worried and asks what's wrong with her. But instead of relief, Mintra is consumed by rage, furious that he keeps destroying her life under the pretense of love and good intentions. She warns him to stay away from her after she slaps him hard across the face. Oh, these 2 lovebirds are torturing not just each other, but also my heart. Mintra is on the verge of a breakdown, regretting ever trusting Parin. Too ashamed to confide in anyone, she calls her aunt in America for help. Meanwhile, Parin is so heartbroken he nearly withdraws into himself. He leaves this sad place and flies to New York to see his mother, whose own love story haunts him. His mom and his dad love each other, but they can't be together. Not only does she have to put up with him being with another woman, she's forced to hide on the opposite end of the earth. Parin had always felt his mom deserved better. But now, scarred by love himself, he finally understood her. Love isn't merely about 2 hearts connecting, it's a battlefield of choices, sacrifices, and missteps. One day, when Parin opens his laptop, his mother recognizes the screensaver. It's Mintra, the niece of her friend. She tells her son that Mintra gave birth to twins here 4 years ago, but the children's father has never shown up. Parin recalls that was shortly after his first encounter with Mintra. Intuition tells him that he is the father of Mintra's children. The surprise hits him like a tornado, yanking Parin from the depths of despair and setting his heart racing again. He immediately runs next door to Mintra's aunt's house to verify. The aunt doesn't hide it, scolding him as a jerk and warning him not to disturb Mintra's life. Realizing his huge mistake, Parin kneels and begs the aunt for help, sincerely explaining his love for Mintra and desire to make amends. Having watched him grow up, the aunt knows he isn't inherently bad, and since Mintra truly loves him too, she agrees to help him return to Mintra's side. Now let's shift our focus back to the casino in Thailand. After paying off his debts with the bestie's money, Kirkpo remains hopelessly addicted to gambling. Disgusted by the assistant's lack of money and connections, he breaks up with him. The assistant feels so bad that he goes to a gay bar to have fun. And this news quickly reaches the bestie, who has informants everywhere. She brings Mintra along to witness the fact that the assistant is gay, exposing that he's been lying to Mintra all along. His proposal was a ploy to swindle her money for his boyfriend. However, instead of getting angry, Mintra sees an opportunity to use him, because she desperately needs a father for the child in her womb. The next day, Mintra approaches the assistant with a secret deal. She offers to hire the assistant to marry her for a year, with a reward of $5 million in cash, plus a stable position at this company. The assistant is confused as to why she's doing this. After all, he proposed to her multiple times before, and she ignored every single one. But he still signs the contract, because with this payment, his money-loving boyfriend will surely come back to him. Back home, with Gan present, Mintra announces her engagement to the assistant. Everyone is shocked. Even a fool can see she doesn't love the assistant. Gan can't understand why she made such a crazy choice all of a sudden. Mintra says she isn't good enough for him and doesn't want him to waste his time on her. Gan is heartbroken, but he can't do anything about it except to respect her decision. But he begs Mintra to stay friends even if they can't be lovers, imploring her not to bottle up her problems and to lean on him whenever she needs to talk. Poor Gan. Trying to take the place of someone's deep-seated love is never easy, is it? On the other side, the cheating businessman learns from his wife that the video was shot by Kirkpo, so he sends several gangsters to beat Kirkpo severely. The assistant rushes his boyfriend to the hospital, where they run into Mintra waiting for a prenatal checkup and discover her pregnancy secret. Holding this leverage over Mintra, the assistant grows arrogant and dissatisfied with the initial payment. The next day, he tears up the contract with Mintra and demands more benefits. Otherwise, he would not marry her, not to mention not being the titular father of the child in her womb. He gives Mintra a week to consider renegotiating the contract. Mintra is at her wit's end, completely unsure of what to do next. Upon hearing the news, the aunt flies back to Thailand and urges Mintra to tell Parin the truth. But Mintra strongly opposes it, fearing that Parin will take the children away from her. In order to ease Mintra's nerves, Auntie takes her and the children to Gan's resort for some relaxation. Parin hurries over after receiving the aunt's message. Knowing that Mintra won't forgive him easily, he tries to seek more allies. He comes right out and tells Gan that the two lovely children are his and Mintra's. He begs Gan to help him stop Mintra from marrying the assistant. Knowing that Mintra has never truly forgotten Parin and wishing for his friend's happiness, Gan agrees to help. However, not everyone is a fan of the main couple. Jealous Pem naturally can't stand to see Mintra happy. For Mintra and Parin to be together, they must overcome not only their inner emotional barriers, but also a multitude of external obstacles. This is Maroon Recap. Check out my homepage, and you'll see more recaps of So Wayree. I'm hastening to write and edit the next recap, so feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.